Hi, so I'm here again, and even though this is only the second video like this, it still feels unfamiliar. Not as scary as the first time, but still very noticeable. Today, I want to continue talking about fear, but in a calmer way. Not fear as panic or drama, but fear as something very ordinary. Something that quietly influences our choices. I've noticed that fear rarely shows up as fear. It doesn't announce itself. Most of the time, it sounds reasonable, even intelligent. It sounds like, you can do this later, or now is not the best time, or you need more clarity first. Let's wait until it feels easier. And none of these thoughts sound wrong, and that's what makes them powerful. I've personally relied on later many times. Later feels kind, later feels responsible, later feels safe. But over time, I notice something. Later doesn't move closer, it quietly moves further away. And without realizing it, I started organizing my life around what felt comfortable, not around what felt meaningful. I want to say something important here. I'm not someone who lives with strong regret. I don't like that word. It feels kind of heavy and dramatic to me. When something doesn't work out, I usually accept it and move on, but there is a different feeling I've noticed. It's not regret, it's more like a quiet awareness, like I never gave this a real chance. And that feeling is subtle, but it stays with you longer than failure ever does. Fear doesn't usually take things away loudly. It doesn't break doors, it doesn't create disasters, it just quietly limits your range. It narrows what you allow yourself to explore. It reduces how visible you let yourself be. It convinces you to stay just a little smaller than you actually are. And because nothing bad happens immediately, it's easy not to notice. And I've realized that comfort and honesty don't always coexist. Comfort wants predictability, comfort wants control, comfort wants to avoid awkwardness. And honesty, on the other hand, often asks us to sit in uncertainty, to try something without knowing the outcome, or to express something before it's polished, to be seen while still figuring things out. And that's uncomfortable, at least for me. Another thing I've noticed is that avoidance often looks productive. You can plan, you can prepare, learn, think, and all of that feels useful. But sometimes it's just a very sophisticated way of not starting. I know this pattern very well. And if you're listening and recognizing yourself here, I want to say this gently. There's probably nothing wrong with you. You're not stuck because you're incapable. You're not slow because you're lazy. You're not behind because you missed something. You might just be very good at protecting yourself. And protection is not bad. It keeps us safe, it keeps us regulated, it keeps us functional. But when protection becomes a lifestyle, it quietly replaces growth. And I think that's what started bothering me. Not fear itself, but how much space I was giving it. Something shifted when I stopped trying to be fearless. That goal, well, actually never worked for me. Instead, I started asking small questions like, what happens if I don't avoid this today? Or what happens if I stay 5 minutes longer? What happens if I let myself be seen just a little? And this video is one of those small experiments. Discomfort is not dangerous, but it feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar often feels wrong, even when it isn't. I'm learning that staying with discomfort doesn't require confidence, it just requires presence, breathing, pausing, not rushing to fix the feeling. And for a long time, I thought success meant feeling ready. Now I think success sometimes means acting while still feeling unsure. Not to prove anything, but to stay honest with yourself. I don't know how many videos like this I'll make. I don't have a long-term plan for this format. What I do know is that I don't want fear to quietly organize my life anymore. Even if I move slowly, even if I hesitate, even if it looks simple from the outside, if there is something in your life that you keep postponing, not because you can't do it, but because it feels slightly uncomfortable, maybe you don't need to push yourself hard. Maybe you just need to stop postponing it indefinitely. One honest step is enough. Talking about this out loud feels grounding for me. It reminds me that growth doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be quiet and intentional. And if you're still here, thank you for listening. And if this resonated even just a little, I'm glad we shared this moment. I'll talk to you soon.